We stream Facebook, Twitter, and YouTube / Make It Plain. A lot of conversation on Starbucks. I'm supposed to be, if no other news breaks, we got bumped yesterday, like I said, because of Hannity. Provided nothing else comes out, including whoever Michael Cohen paid off for him. At 3 Eastern today, we'll be on MSNBC talking Starbucks. Here to give us NAACP's position on the Starbucks fiasco. Of course, as always on Tuesdays, we're happy to have the president and CEO of the NAACP, Derrick Johnson. Derrick, good morning, man. How are you, buddy?
Good morning. How are you doing?
I'm good, man. I'm good. You released a statement on Starbucks yesterday.
That's right. Implicit bias is something that has created a problem in this country for a while. We're looking now at 3 incidents in a short period of time where in Sacramento, police officers assume an individual is armed and dangerous and simply have a cell phone in his yard bothering no one. You have a 14-year-old who missed the bus walking to school. No harm to anyone, simply stopped to ask for directions and assumed that he was trying to break into a house and being shot at. And 2 individuals at Starbucks. Here you have state actors, police officers, private citizens, and corporations all operating in a space where the assumption of malice behavior created a situation where in one situation the individual was killed, another situation a child was shot at, and a third situation where 2 individuals was unnecessarily handcuffed. We are in a place in this country where we must address implicit bias as it relates to African Americans.
Now, what do we do with Starbucks? Is the NAACP going to seek a meeting or some type of dialogue with them?
Yeah, at some point we probably will. Our local branch president, Rodney Muhammad, has been working diligently with the police chief and the mayor to make sure we are clear about all of the things that are lined up. NAACP will be reaching out to Starbucks, the company. It's fascinating that I read through yesterday that the manager can be found, no longer with Starbucks, and no one's been able to talk to the manager to find out what would precipitate that act, her or him, I don't even know if it's male or female, to call, one, and part two, is this a part of some type of training Starbucks provide, or is it a result of lack of training from Starbucks?
Well, since you mentioned Brother Rodney, too, I mean, it seems like it's a double-edged sword because a lot of people aren't talking about this, Derrick. But the police were wrong, too. They're not required to make an arrest. There are countless times when police are called, and sometimes police who are qualified and who are good police are able to diffuse certain situations that don't lead to an arrest, right? I mean, so it was wrong for Starbucks and the manager to call the police, but it was also uncalled for the police to make that arrest too, wasn't it?
That's why facts matter. What was said on the call to precipitate the arrest, if anything, was something said on the call to have the police department to send 6 officers who then pursued to arrest what appeared on the camera 2 calm African Americans who complied with all the orders. Just think had one of them raised the question, why are you doing this? What did I do? Instantly, it would have been seen as resisting an arrest and could have escalated.
Right.
But fortunately, those 2 brothers were calm. They understood the nature of what was taking place and the impact of their reaction, so they complied. And this question of implicit bias is serious. So whether it the store manager or the police officers who truly was at fault and escalated this to a point where it should not have been escalated.
Yeah. So in doing I'd asked Andrew, our associate producer, to do some research for me yesterday. Starbucks has one of the most diverse corporate boards. Starbucks also 40% of its staff, and I guess that primarily is baristas, are people of color. They won't, however, and this is where maybe you can come in and help us get this information, release any data on how many of those who hold a license, because it's not a franchise, you have to hold a license. How many licensees are people of color or African American? How many managers are people of color or African American? I mean, that's some of the information that we're missing to really determine, because you have to put that in the mix when we're talking about resolving these issues of bias, right? It's not just the training, because you can obviously, Derrick, you can have, just like in the case of the police many, many times, you can have people of color police or people of color or African American managers in a chain like Starbucks who still would make the mistake that was made yesterday. But it does make a difference when you have more diversity at the top, licensees, managers, and what have you. That information isn't readily available. I think that's something that you ought to be able to request.
But the diversity of the company is important because it sometimes sets the tone to understand the activities of the company.
Right.
The question for us is, yes, we would love to look at the diversity mix of the company, but who's at fault? Was it a corporate culture, an employee bad actor, unnecessary reaction from the police force, or bad actor on the police force? All of those things are in the mix.
Right.
All we have is a 30 or so second video, which is obviously there's a problem what's taking place. How did that escalate to that point is why we as an association, we need to react to what we've seen, but do so with enough discipline that we're not overreacting and pointing fingers, because if we did that, it'd be no different than those who pointing fingers of the two individuals who are sitting there waiting for a business partner to start a meeting.
Now, in terms of overreacting, though, are the calls, and the NAACP hasn't called for a boycott, but many in the community have, is a boycott overreacting or premature in your estimation?
At this point, who's at fault? That's the question. That's the true question.
Okay.
Who's at fault? And for us, we can't say it was one or the other. We do know there was a problem. We do know those individuals did nothing wrong and they were arrested. Why is the real question that we should be pursuing as a community?
No, you're absolutely right. Derrick, if you don't mind, too, because I think it's important. It's always important to learn from history and get everything in context. The NAACP itself is very, very cautious about the boycott action anyway, isn't it? And there's a legal reason for that, right?
Right. So in the late 70s, there was a small town in Port Gibson, Mississippi, where NAACP successfully called for a boycott, enforced that boycott, and caused all the businesses downtown, particularly the main store, to go bankrupt, because in that small town, the majority of the population were African Americans. We were sued as a result of that. That suit lasted multiple years. It was finally settled in the early 80s, wasn't settled, went to the Supreme Court. Had that suit been successful, it would have bankrupted NAACP. But we prevailed in that lawsuit, and since that point forward, we have to be cautious. Any organization will have to be cautious when they call for a boycott. Now, I believe, and we believe in dollar discipline,
right? That
we should patronize establishments that support and appreciate our patronage. We believe in diversity and both hiring, management, and ownership whenever possible, particularly of public companies. We believe that as an association, we should educate our members around activities of companies, particularly if those activities create an atmosphere that's not healthy for our community. But when you go to the nuclear option of a boycott, one, you have to make sure you're standing on clear grounds, and two, you got to make sure you can sustain it. Because the worst thing you can do is call for something and not have the ability to sustain it over the long haul.
Well, and not only that, and you and I have discussed this before, and my audience has heard Angelo Carasone, Media Matters, talk about it. The boycott nowadays may not be as powerful as we think, because the nature of corporations is when you say boycott, they then look at the bottom line of the dollar impact. When you do an informed consumer campaign, something that is not immediately scientifically measurable, it causes more anxiety for the corporation because it's not as measurable. Once your brand is damaged, it's hard to get it back. And frankly, folks, this damages Starbucks' brand. If we don't lift a finger, it damages their brand. If we get in there, well, how many people can we actually get to stop buying coffee? Then that opens up another door. And then if we don't get everybody to stop it, then Starbucks can say, it's not working because people still buy our coffee. But if the brand, the name, the image is damaged, okay, and that's what I said to the people here at SiriusXM when Steve Bannon, if the image is damaged, that can have a greater long-term drip, drip, drip effect than if somebody says, well, let's just see how many people we can stop actually buying Starbucks coffee. And that's because of the way corporations do their own research now, get their own information, have their own marketing departments and what have you. It's not like the 50s and 60s when a boycott might have been even more impactful. So even if we don't shut it down through boycott, it's still impacted and could, very well have enough damage done to its brand that it's no longer as sustainable. Right, Derrick?
Yeah, think about the restaurant Denny's.
Yes.
Denny's had several incidents over a period of time of racialized problems around dealing with African Americans.
Right.
And it continues. Denny's today is not the company it was
right.
Where it was going to be because it was growing fast. It was all across the landscape. But because of those highly publicized incidents, Denny is not the same company.
Right.
That was not because of a boycott. That was they lost control of their image. Mm-hmm. And many people stopped patronizing Denny's because they felt at that time that it would create that it had a hostile environment for patrons of African Americans.
Right.
And there are multiple other companies that are similar to that, where once we create a collective consciousness not to patronize, we have seen the impact. Church's Chicken. Yeah. In the 80s, there was Church's Chicken was moving fast, and there was a rumor or a statement about the company. Whether it was true or not, right. I don't know. I was in high school, but I recall Church's Chicken popping up, and then Church's Chicken closing real fast.
Right. right. We also, in interest of time, quickly, we've got Sean King posted an incident with Brandon Ward and another Starbucks on yesterday. It's gotten over 1 million views. He was about to make a purchase, Brandon Ward needed to use the restroom. They denied him the restroom code to get in the door. He then finds a white man who came out of the restroom. This white man had not made a purchase, but they gave this white patron the code. Take a listen to this, if you would, everyone.
How you doing, bro? What's your name? Brandon Ward. Sorry, did anyone told you that you look like someone familiar? No, you never got that.
Yeah.
Have you purchased anything in here, sir?
No, but I was just about to go.
You about to go purchase something?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. So, but before you made a purchase, they let you use the restroom, right?
I just typed in. I asked for the code.
You asked for the code, and they just gave it to you,
Yeah.
right? Before you made a purchase.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Come on, let's go. Are you done? Were you about to get something?
Well, I was gonna get food.
Are you gonna get food?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. So this is Weston. And Weston hadn't made a purchase yet, you guys. So I would like Starbucks right here on Redondo, on Artesia, and Hawthorne. This man right here said he hasn't made a purchase yet. He's in line to make a purchase, and you guys had gave him the code. Right? Isn't that what you did? No, this is not your business. This is not your business. This is not your business, though. Okay, you may be the store manager, but you're not in charge. I'm not allowed to be in here anymore. Why? You see, they're so mad. Why are they upset with me, Weston? What did I do? I just tried to use the bathroom like you did, and they gave it to you. Is it my skin color? 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 I couldn't use the bathroom, but Weston could. Amen. I feel it may be my skin color. Hey, but this is about to be on social media. It's about to go in the shade room.
So there you have again, and this is just after what happened in Philadelphia. You have this happening at another Starbucks, Derrick, and here is that implicit bias again.
So the question is there something in Starbucks training that created that scenario? Is it individual Starbucks hires who bring a level of bias to the workplace, or is it an acceptable behavior unstated that has allowed for this culture to exist?
Right.
Those are the questions that we always have to ask in
right.
these scenarios.
Yeah. We will see what comes of this, and I don't know, Derrick. Sometimes I just think we always reach out as NAACP. Seem like Starbucks need to be calling you this morning. I mean, honestly, why? That's just be natural. Listen, they know they have this problem. It's all over. They should be calling you and saying, "Hey, how do we resolve this? Who is it that we can bring in?" Because I mean, there are people you can do diversity awareness, sensitivity training company wide. They should be calling you, seeking your advice.
Some companies would do that. Others won't. It's important for the NAACP for us to make sure that we're disciplined with the adults in the room and we're focusing on the best interests of our community.
Yeah. Derrick Johnson, folks, President and CEO of the NAACP, joins us every Tuesday. We appreciate that. Derrick, thank you, man.
Thank you. And every Tuesday, I ask people
That's
to
right.
text NAACP to 40649. Take the pledge to vote. Our democracy depends on you.
40649. Text NAACP. Take the pledge to vote. That's important more than ever before, ladies and gentlemen. 40649. Text NAACP and keep in touch. Derrick, thanks, man.
Have a good morning.
All right, you do. Enjoy your morning. Thank you. I'll just come back top of the house.